Hi everybody, this is Rhonda Johnson again, and today I'm going to walk you through the Mail Merge Wizard so that you will understand the steps that you'll be using in Word 2013 to successfully use the wizard to merge a source document into pre-prepared letters. Okay, so what we're looking at on the screen right now is the source document. It's called donors. I'm going to tell you a few things when you're creating a source document to look out for or to be aware of. I notice that whenever I'm merging my documents, if I don't put a space after the first name, then my first name and my last name don't have a space between them in the letter. So in order to alleviate that problem, I go ahead and add a space after each first name. You'll see that tiny little dot, and that creates so that I can just run the first name and the last name fields together, and I won't have to go in and manually space the names. The second thing I do with the address, instead of putting the street address and then another column for the city and another column for the state, another column for the zip, I find that if I can just do one field, call it address, and then put everything I need in the way that I want it to look in the letter, that seems to be a faster way to insert that field and not have to do so many steps. So I just wanted to show you this document so that you would know it exists, so that when we get ready to browse for it in one of the wizard steps, we'll know what it's called and not have any confusion about that. All right, let's look at the letter that was written. This is a letter that's going to be going out to those three recipients that were in the source file. And this is the letter. It's a business letter. It's formatted in a block style. We're using closed punctuation, which is this colon at the salutation and a comma after the complimentary close. It's important to get all of the formatting correct. We're leaving 5 blank lines at the top of the letter so that when the letters are finished being merged, we can use letterhead paper to run them on. We know that there should be 3 empty lines between the date and the inside address. I have 4 here, and that'll be obvious in a moment why I have 4. The other spacing is as you learned to do it in the document production course. You also learned this same document formatting in your Word class. If you haven't taken the Word class yet, you will. In fact, all of you have, I believe. So the body of the document is here. The complimentary closing, there should be, again, 3 lines, empty lines between complimentary closing and the signature line. So the letter looks good. Let's go ahead and start the merge. We'll go to mailings and we'll start the merge, and we'll go to the wizard. Now, I find that you don't have to use the wizard. You could use any of these. It would work fine. But if you're not comfortable with mail merge, you haven't done it in a while, or you never were that comfortable, I think that this wizard is very helpful. So let's start with step 1. It wants to know, what type of document are we working on? It's a letter, so the default is correct. Let's go to step 2. How do you want to set up the letters? So here they just want to know, where's the letter coming from? Do you already have a letter typed? Are you going to create one? Or are you going to go get one? So we're saying, let's just use the one that's on the screen. We'll use the current document. And I think that 9 times out of 10, that's probably going to be what you're doing. And so next, we're going to select our recipients. So we know that it's called donors. We're going to go browse for that document. You're always going to see this come up. Don't worry about it. If you have something that you have done this way, it's fine. But we already know that we're looking for a document. So we are going to go find the donors document. Because it's part of a mail merge, this dialog box is displayed to us, and it's organized our table into a last name, first name, and address. These are the 3 fields that we created in our table. So we'll say, okay, everything looks good. The next step says write your letter. Don't be confused about that. We've already written the letter, but had we not written the letter, this would be when we would write it. So everything is good. Let's go to step 4. This is where we add our fields, the fields that we want automatically populated in each of the recipient's letters. So the first thing we're going to do, remember I told you I would tell you why I had 4 lines here. I already know I need to reserve 3 for the blank lines between the 2 fields in the letter. So I'm going to start inserting my fields on the 4th line. So I'm going to click for, I don't want any of these pre-programmed fields because we already created our source document. We know what our fields are and where they are. So I'm going to click first name, insert, and last name, insert. And you may remember that I told you that I put a space after the first name, because if you run these two together and you don't put a space either after the first name or before the last name, they're going to run together in your letter. And now it's time to close this because I want to create, I'm just going to enter and create a second line, and that's where I want the address to be. So I'm going to insert the address now. I'm going to close it again, and I'm going to, I know there should be a blank line between address and the last line of the address and the salutation, so I'm just going to add that other blank line right in there. I want to do a quick scan on the letter because any changes that I need to make to this letter have to be made before I actually merge the document. Otherwise, I'll either have to make a change in every single letter of the document, and there might be hundreds. This time there's only 3, but you can imagine that this would be very handy if you had to do 100 letters. Or I will have to do the merge all over again because a mistake in any letter is a mistake in every letter. So here, look, we have 1 space between your contribution and the previous sentence, but there's 2 spaces here, 2 spaces here. Looks like this letter really should have 2 spaces before each sentence, just to be consistent. All right, so the letter looks good. I think we're pretty happy. Let's go to preview your letters. As soon as I click preview your letters, the wizard starts populating the information from the first line in the source document. That was Maria Jacks. I'm going to click over here to recipient 2, it's Richard Jackson, and recipient 3, James Collins. Everything looks good. I'm going to, just understand this, I'm going to step 5 of 6 to complete the wizard, or complete the merge. And notice that step 6 of 6 doesn't really have anything. It says preview your letters. I want to show you something. In that previous step where it said to do the merge, it's the same thing as clicking up here. I want you to go 1 step further. Click on merge, finish and merge, and then edit individual documents. At this point, you could do anything with this merge. You could print these documents out. You could email them to someone. I want you to edit them. I don't really want you to edit them, but you'll see why I want you to click this. All the documents I want merged, so I'm going to say OK. Notice here, a new document has been created. When I said edit the letters, it created a new document. 1 document, but 1 document with multiple files in it. So the first letter is for Maria Jacks. If I move down, now I have Richard Jackson. If I continue to move down, now I have James Collins. So it's a single document with all 3 letters in it. At this point, I would save my document with a new name. And this is what I was sending a message to you all about, to please save this document with a new name and then send it to me. I will be able to tell them that you did do a merge. Now, some of you, I believe, sent me a document which was sort of copied and pasted on each page, which is not a true mail merge, as you well know. And the reason I can tell that that was done is because if there are any differences whatsoever in any of the letters that you send me in this one document, that will be clear that it was not the result of a merge, that it was actually just a copy-paste type action, and that is not what we want. So I hope that this makes it clear to you how to complete a mail merge. My video is probably not as professional, as clean, or as short as a video that you might find on YouTube, but I hope it was clear for you. And it is longer than most of the videos, but this is an action that has several steps, so it just takes longer to explain. Hope you have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you next time.